New York. They call it the city that never sleeps. Skyscrapers, subways, billboards, billions of dreams stacked on top of each other. But beneath all the lights, there's something no one wants to talk about. Something dark, something dishonest, something very afraid of the truth. In this city, the richest in America, children still go to bed hungry. Rats run through the streets. Rent keeps rising while salaries stay the same. And while the poor suffer in silence, the politicians smile for cameras and sell that silence to the highest bidder. Then one man, a Muslim man, broke the pattern. He said, if injustice is happening across the world and I stay silent here, I am no better than the ones dropping the bombs. His name? Zohran Mamdani, assemblyman, son of immigrants, resident of Queens, Muslim by faith, and a man who decided that truth was worth more than comfort. He stood in the middle of New York's government halls and said what millions were too afraid to whisper. What's happening in Gaza is evil, not a conflict. Not both sides, not unfortunate. Evil. He didn't just mean the killing. He meant the lying, the justifying, the way people pretend genocide looks like peace. He said it openly. Netanyahu is a war criminal. Our tax dollars are funding murder. The people of Palestine are being erased. And that's when it began. The hate, the lies, the noise. They didn't say he was wrong. They just said he was dangerous. But dangerous to who? To murderers who wear suits? To governments who smile while sending bombs? To people who call themselves civilized, but cheer when children die? You see, this isn't just about Palestine. This is about truth and the world's fear of it. New York says it's the home of free speech. But when a Muslim uses that speech to defend the oppressed, suddenly that freedom starts to break. Why? Because the system doesn't fear loud men. It fears calm ones. Men who walk softly, but speak like a storm. Zohran didn't scream. He didn't insult. He didn't burn flags. He didn't call for war. He just said, what is wrong, no matter who does it. And that shook them more than any protest. Because the truth doesn't need fists. It just needs a voice. Look at what happened after. They accused him of supporting terrorism. They said he would bring Sharia to New York. They showed photos of mosques like they were weapons. They warned voters, this man is Muslim. He must have an agenda. But here's the thing. He did have an agenda. To stop pretending that evil is normal. He said, I will not be quiet while children are buried. I will not clap for killers. And I will not stay silent just to stay in office. Now let's ask something honest. Is this evil? Or is it the first time someone told the truth inside a place full of lies? Zohran is not perfect. No human is. We're not saying he's a saint. We're not saying he's the answer. We're just saying if a man like this causes fear, then maybe it's not the man who's the problem. Maybe it's the world that forgot how to feel. To speak against oppression is not extremism. To name a crime is not hate. To stand with the weak is not violence. It is faith. It is logic. It is courage. In a city like New York, where lies wear suits and injustice has its own office, a man who speaks the truth even once is a revolution. They say Zohran Mamdani is dangerous, not because he planted a bomb, but because he refused to cover one with silence. This is the strange part. If he had smiled and said nothing about Gaza, he would be praised. He would be safe. He would be one of the good ones. But the moment he spoke, the world forgot everything else. Not his record, not his policies, not his honesty. They only remembered one thing. He's a Muslim. You see, the West never had a problem with Islam as long as it stayed quiet, as long as it didn't show up to the ballot, as long as it prayed in the corner and never opened its mouth. They don't hate Islam. They hate a Muslim with a spine. A Muslim who says, I worship Allah, not your fear. I care more about truth than fitting in. Your silence kills and I won't share in it. That's the real crime. He didn't say death to America. He said stop killing Palestinians. And that was enough for them to lose their minds. Think deeply. Why is calling out murder more offensive than the murder itself? Why is truth more dangerous than tanks? Why does New York call itself a city of freedom, but lose its mind when a Muslim uses it? Let's be honest now. The hate isn't about Zohran. It's not about politics. It's not about public safety. It's about control. Control over the narrative. Control over pain. Control over whose life matters and whose doesn't. When a white politician supports war, they call him strong. When a Muslim supports peace, they call him suspicious. When a Muslim dies in Gaza, the media says nothing. But if a Muslim dares to speak here, the media calls it a threat. That is not justice. That is not journalism. That is not democracy. That is systemic silence. And silence in the face of evil is evil. Do you know what the Quran says? Do not be silent about truth, even if it is against your own self. And do not let hatred of others make you turn away from justice. This is Islam. Not bombs, not bullets, not force, but standing up when everyone else sits down, speaking when everyone else is scared, caring when everyone else looks away. What happened to Zohran is not new. Every generation has one. A man who doesn't fit the script. A man who believes religion is not a cage, but a compass. A man who doesn't just go to the masjid, but takes the mercy of Islam into the streets, into the courts, into the meetings. And that scares them more than 1,000 weapons, because the system was built on Muslims staying quiet. Now one spoke, and they don't know what to do with him. Let's not lie to ourselves. Even if Zohran is removed, even if his name is dragged through mud, even if they silence his voice, they will never silence the truth he revealed, that this system never hated violence. It only hated truth when it came with a beard. When it came from someone who says, La ilaha illallah. This is not about winning elections. This is not about left or right. This is about who we are and what we let happen in our name. Because when truth becomes illegal and silence becomes holy, then you are no longer living in a democracy. You are living in a theater where pain is edited and real voices are cut from the script. So whether you support Zohran or not, ask yourself something real. Why is a calm Muslim man who spoke against the murder of babies more feared than the one who funded the bombs? We are not asking you to follow him. We are asking you to follow truth. Because if we as a people stay silent while evil dances in front of us, then what will we say to Allah on the day we stand alone? Let them call us names. Let them spread lies. Let them threaten. We were not made to be liked. We were made to speak truth, to defend the weak, to fear only Allah. And as long as one voice speaks, as long as one Muslim refuses to bow, they will never sleep peacefully again, because truth doesn't die. It just waits. My brothers, my sisters, what you've just heard is not about a man. It's about a mirror, because Zohran Mamdani, he may rise, he may fall, but the questions remain for us. Who are we? When the truth knocks at our door, do we open it or pretend we're not home? This is not about politics. This is about our souls. What do we do when the world celebrates oppression and a single voice says, stop? Do we protect that voice? Do we join it or do we scroll away, waiting for someone else to carry the weight? Know this. Truth is not cheap. Justice is not convenient. And silence, when it favors the oppressor, is not neutrality. It is betrayal. So if a man, Muslim or not, stands against evil with calm, with reason, with mercy, then know that this is closer to Islam than the silence of 1 million so-called leaders. As Imam Malik once said, the truth is not known by people. The truth is known by evidence, and the people of truth are few. May Allah make us of those few. The ones who speak when others stay silent. The ones who stand even when we stand alone. The ones who carry the light, not because it's easy, but because Allah commanded it. And if they fear our voices, then let them fear. Because we do not speak for power. We speak for truth. And truth belongs to Allah. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.